What is wrong with SHG? Hello everyone, my name is Tina, welcome to the G Sport Hub, and this is not an easy question to answer. Since looking at this lineup, they definitely should not be last place with one single game score throughout the first 2 weeks. Even if objectively they had a really raw schedule facing top teams back to back, that is not really an excuse when you yourself aim to be a top team. So let me summarize the timeline, everything that happened, and why I'm still a little bit hopeful they will find their footing even in the next match against Taiwan. Everything started with Riot Games 1, where despite only being a show match, still was the first time seeing this SHG lineup playing together. They were against mostly retired pros, so obviously they won both games in the end, but not all moments looked clean. But it makes sense for a team who literally just met the day before, and we gained a lot of information about how the team works, how's their communication from these post-game interviews. When asked about to rate the team's performance, Gan said that he rates the team 50%, to which Abby replied, only 50%? To which Gan added, everyone was fine in the laning phase, but in terms of communication and rotations, map movements, I don't think we were doing that correctly, so that's why I'm giving this only a 50%. The communication and language barrier came up in other interviews as well, for example one with Abby, where to a question of if there is still language barriers, he replied, that's right, however, Fate, when we were back in backstage before the games, with his notepad and pen, he was constantly studying Japanese, and our coach Moment has also hired a Japanese teacher and studying for about 1 to 2 hours every single day. Everyone is working really hard, and I'm really happy to see them taking it so seriously. But finally, in once another interview, Abby was asked about how he's handling the Korean imports because he has had a lot of interactions with Korean imports beforehand, to which he replied, first of all, we have decided to absolutely not have a translator for them, since if we had a translator in the team, the players wouldn't need to learn Japanese, so they might not have the motivation to do so. So this learning period is definitely the toughest right now. And let me just say, this is definitely the best choice long term. That's exactly how I learned English as well, but it shows more of a long-term plan, so more on that later. But for now, the team is ready to move to Taiwan to start LCP, and more problems arose even before the first game. January 6th, roughly 10 days before LCP starts, Abby tweeted out, we have arrived in Taiwan. The gaming house isn't ready yet, so for the time being, we will be playing from a hotel, and also posted a picture with Marble, who I assume he shared a room with. The gaming house, where the players are brought together, the most important aspect of learning a new language in this method, just wasn't ready yet. Meanwhile, because of that, Scrims also hasn't been going well. January 12th, just a few days before their first match, Abby tweeted out, at Scrims I was top-gapped so hard that I started crying. Things still has not been going well coming into the first match against GAM. Honestly, I don't really want to go through all the games since the takeaway is basically all the same. Game 1 against GAM, Fate had a pretty bad performance, getting caught out and whatnot, but he was very visibly confused in the map. SHG's rotations were bad too, and in general, everything felt off. They were able to win game 2, the only game they could win so far in the LCP, but it was kind of on the back of just getting Marble fed, who, by the way, was the only consistent member on the team throughout the series in my opinion. And after this game 2, there came game 3, which was, that was a painful one. SHG were unable to play in the lane swaps. GAM has executed it perfectly. Abby had a really interesting game, and doesn't need too much analyzing. SHG suffered a 1-2 loss. Even after the match interviews, Abby was talking about how even himself was thinking about what the hell am I doing, especially at the teleport play or at the bot side when he was trying to 1v1 but got solo killed. And even though there has been many poses throughout the day, there was actually quite a big one just before their third game as well. Abby addressed this saying, but our opponents suffered from the same things as well. I think personally I lacked mental strength and the right mindset when approaching this game. But Abby absolutely wasn't the sole problem in this team, and this is actually something that Marble has talked about after this game. To the question of how Marble and Gan's synergy is right now, he answered, right now in this meta there are a lot of lane swaps happening, so we haven't had time to practice communication during the laning phase just yet. Even then, I think things are going well, and we hope to show good performance even in the laning phase coming to the next matches. So it seemed like despite this very bad games 3, they were more or less aware of their issues and they were working on it. 2 days later, there comes CFO. A week later, there came the Vikings. However, unfortunately, their team fighting was really weird, and they ended up losing all these 4 games as well. And I don't want to get into these matches too deep because, as I said before, these all had the same problems. They felt uncoordinated and they just never even got a single lead throughout the game. So, end of week 2, everyone played 3 matches. Because of the new year, there's gonna be a 1-week break. And before that break, everyone just wonders, what is going on? I know every single thing is one small problem that other teams might have. However, SHG has a lot of small problems stacked up on top of each other, and this is exactly what Gans said in an interview after the Vikings game. That's right, there isn't just one single issue, we have many problems. And to the question of, from your perspective, what do you think is the most important to tackle first? Gans said that the biggest issue we have right now is communication. And all these communication issues can kind of also be traced back to one other issue, them not having their own gaming house, which Moment talked about how it's so hard to scrim in this environment. He said, I can't go into details too much. I mean, we know from the players it's because of the gaming house. But since arriving, the environment wasn't great for the team. It's not so much because we're losing games, more so because all the external circumstances. However, after the Lunar New Year, I believe that our environment will improve and hopefully the team will start getting better. As for our communication, the Korean players are working really hard to learn Japanese, so I expect a lot of improvements in those areas as well. And I'm really sorry for all the fans who are worrying about us. We'll do our very best to show a better performance against Taiwan next week, regardless of what the match's outcome will be. And obviously a lot of these are excuses, valid or not. That's up to you to decide, but you definitely have to feel like this team was meant for so much more, and this performance is not even close up to what their level should be. So what's gonna happen next week against Talon? And why am I a little bit hopeful? Well, since just yesterday, Abby tweeted out, finally our pieces has arrived to our gaming house, and our season starts now. It feels like the external factors are over and now they can finally focus on just getting better in this game. Now, are they gonna win against Talon? I don't know, because there were so many issues, and even though we solved the main cause of that, a lot of that, there are still just so many left, and I'm not sure how much they can solve on those. But we'll see. After the new year, we will be co-streaming every single one of those matches. We are gonna be co-streaming all the matches both on Twitch and YouTube. And as for social media, for all of the news, we are on Twitter, Blue Sky, and I guess YouTube as well. This is kind of a social media. We're posting a lot of videos about all the stuff here. So thank you for watching this video. Make sure to give a like and a subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye!